This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on! Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode 100. We're now, as Justin said before we came on, we're now one better than Gretzky. Don't have the goals, nor the money, or really anything else for that matter, but we're at least one number better than Gretzky. So take that for what it's worth. Thank you for sticking with us for 100 shows and all the comments and the guests that have come on and the people that want to send us things for the show, whatever it is. We appreciate it. It means a lot. I had another collector reach out to me today, had wanted messages for a bit, finally got around to it and said how much he's loved the show, got caught up on it. He'll be joining us here in a few weeks to talk about the Vegas sale. So I'm excited for that. We'll talk about that date here in a minute. But again, gentlemen, thank you, Paul, Wade, and some guy named Justin. I don't know who the hell he is. He just randomly found the link. So welcome back. I think it's been about 100 shows since we saw you last time.
Doom crashing.
We got to give you crap just because it's been a while, but glad you could make it tonight. You'll be contributing good, especially with unpacking from the move. I love that I can see like 3 jerseys hanging in the background.
That's all that got unpacked. The rest of the house is a complete disaster.
Well, but see, you started in the most important room. The rest of it doesn't matter. The drink for this evening is Bardstown Fusion. It's a fusion of about 6 different aged bourbons. Very, very good. Some of that, all kinds of different mixes and stuff. I know you can get around quite a bit different places, but it is part of my drink this evening. So cheers to everybody on 100.
Congrats.
Feels like I should have had cupcakes made and then shipped them out to everybody or something. But our sponsor, as always, with the drinking and the clothing with Mitch for the Drink Your Face Off line of barware and clothing. Please reach out to him if you want any cool stuff. I know he continues to work on new designs and that. So thank you to Mitch. Not a whole lot in the way of auctions. I did want to mention, because I had been keeping track of it in the last few shows, is the Stanley Cup carpet from Florida. Did sell the other day. It had 12 bids. Final sale price was $13,600. I mean, it was a prime star on TV, but holy crap, that's a lot for a piece of carpet. Other than that, what's that?
More power to that person.
Yeah. So, and if it's somebody that's a collector and wants to share that they got it, I'd love to see what it looks like when you get it. The only other auction that I saw, NHL has the alumni has they have a bunch of sticks out there for sale. The other jersey auction that caught my attention is the Avalanche, and how they're doing theirs. And I don't know if you guys have seen any other teams do it this way. I remember New York used to sell jerseys like in a set of 3 or whatever, depending on the thing. But the Avalanche have players that wore multiple jerseys getting auctioned off together.
Yeah.
I mean, and that seems different.
Lots.
What's that?
In separate lots.
No.
In one lot.
It is one lot. If you go into, I just grabbed the first one I saw, Parker Kelly. It says 2 Parker Kelly road jerseys, 2 24-25 Colorado Avalanche home jerseys, size 56. 2 jerseys were used during the regular season for this player. Dates worn listed on the jersey strap.
Now I remember the Avalanche have done it before, where guys that wear multiple jerseys, they've had multiple lots of the same player. But yeah, I've never heard of a lot with 2 jerseys. I've never heard of that.
So looking at this particular, and they're both white, this particular player on the fight strap is written 125 through 417, and the equipment guy signed it. And then the other one is, I don't know if I can zoom in on that one.
Same day.
October 1st to February 23rd is the other white. So basically, set 1, set 2 away is what it looks like for this particular for Parker Kelly.
I thought in the past when they did this, it was players that wore multiple jerseys in a set. So, like, I remember McKinnon had 3 jerseys in a set, and that was all auctioned off as one lot. I don't recall them actually doing like different sets within it, which seems kind of counterproductive.
Yeah,
Right. It's like you're just ditching out. I'm looking at Ross Colton also. His first one here, October 1st through February 23rd, which means they got a crap ton of wear for those away jerseys. A lot of teams seem to have that this past year. And then the other one dated 125 to 417. So it is set 1 and set 2, at least for certain guys. And I mean, if you like that player, and I think I've seen it. That's part of what sparked my interest in it. I'd seen people post about, hey, does somebody want to split this lot? But like I see, there's a McKinnon here. And the auction is not open yet, too, by the way. It's lists 7 days and 31 minutes. So I'm not sure exactly when it opens. But like McKinnon, his is a single jersey, or I'm sorry, I take that back. His is split up. So I've got, let me double check the set dates on theirs. And it's interesting that the set dates are written on the fight strap, and there's just a, and I apologize, I don't have the link on my computer to screen share this, but the set stamp just says 24-25 season, official Colorado Avalanche with the logo and who it's lettered by. But the actual, all the set information is handwritten on the fight strap and signed. Is that, I don't know if you guys have any Avalanchers seen that. Is that normally how they do it?
Seems odd to me.
Yeah, I can check.
And everybody departs.
But it's just an interesting way, 1, to see it done, and 2, and maybe it's just for those lesser known guys that they think they won't sell.
Yeah, but I mean, that's wild in the sense that, like, you're not maximizing profits that way by any means. I mean,
no.
I have a 2021 jersey sitting over here, and that does not have anything on the fight strap besides the player signature.
Yeah.
I think it's the player. I mean, double check, make sure it's not the equipment manager.
The Binghamton Senators, or the years, they would put the dates that a set was worn in on the inside neck tag, but
I did get that up here now. So this is like I said, it says it's in preview mode. So this is the Nathan McKinnon Road. And if we zoom in on the date, because there's 12/16.
Yeah,
wow.
That's the equipment manager. Yeah,
yep, 12/16 through 4/17 with the equipment manager on the fight strap.
The 2021 has the equipment manager signature, it looks like, but no dates.
Okay.
Yeah, that's interesting.
But then, I say, if we go back here and middle stat says it has a number 2 in front of it. It's got both jerseys in here, and those the twin jerseys are starting at 600, and the fair market value they have listed there is 600. But all the details they have are 2 jerseys were used for the regular season for this player. Dates are on the fight strap. They give no.
And you're getting both
wear information, nothing else.
So it looks like the McCarr jerseys are from the same set. There's 2 of those, and now mine's not reloading. But
then this one's interesting too, because this is the first one I've seen that the number written on the set stamp doesn't match what's written on the fight strap.
Yeah.
This seems like a very niche to the hobby thing to do. I wonder which big time Colorado collector suggested this one.
Yeah, somebody.
Yeah, if one of the collectors for Colorado has some more details on why this is done or why they're doing it this way, please let us know. I'd love to hear kind of the backstory of why.
But it makes sense to like home and away, right? Because they're 2 different jerseys.
Now that would be really cool if they did that. If they did a lot with the home and the away,
and
I think that would get interest, right?
There's 4 McKinnons total in here. I was trying to look at it on my phone, so I didn't see them all. You've got one that there's 2 McKinnons together, and then the other 3 are individual. So, Paul, you may be right with some dates being identical. I wonder if he wears multiple per game. And I should have broken one of these down a little bit more before we came on so I could give you more solid stuff. But I just thought it was interesting to see that some players have their set 1s and 2s in the same auction. You can get both.
Yeah, it just seems like you're taking, it's when you're bundling them like that, you're taking away opportunities from other collectors, who might, and someone who only wants one. I remember when the McKinnons, I think it was a set of 3 or 4 sold. 2 or 3 of them ended up in the Facebook groups to being sold to other collectors fairly quickly after that, because they only wanted one. So it's,
and I mean, or if you want to pair up with somebody, it's a good way to do it because you may have a little bit more buying power. But I wanted to kind of share that because I stumbled across that. It's interesting, and they got some other stuff. There is a Gorgiev helmet for $4,000, starting price, some equipment bags, some other things, but that just really caught my attention because it was so different. Like I said, I've seen some teams, I think it was more they were just selling them that way, where the Rangers did a home, road, and alternate, like they were sold as a set, if I remember correctly, at least for 1 year or 2.
Rick Nash, he wore multiple jerseys a game, or switch that each period. And when they sold his jerseys, I remember them selling them as a set of 3.
Oh,
and that may be what I was thinking of. I think there may have been a few other guys that way. But that just, and again, I don't know exactly when the auction starts. There's countdowns still out there, and you can check them out now. Look at wear and things like that. Equipment sales, one starting. I thought this one was kind of interesting too, and I don't know if this is how they normally do it, but the Toronto Maple Leafs equipment sale starts tomorrow and goes till next Saturday, July the 12th. It's just their normal store hours, 10 to 6.
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen any other team do it that way.
No, that's pretty
But
interesting.
they, it's the details are up on their page for that. I know on their Facebook page anyway.
I wonder if you could call into the team and get stuff then.
Unclear. This is from Real Sports Auction. Real Sports Apparel will be hosting an MLSE summer clearance equipment sale at Scotia Bank Arena this Friday, July 4th, and still Saturday, July 12th. Sale will be located inside Real Sports Apparel, east of Gate 1, daily from 10 to 6. Include a variety of discounted game use gear directly from the locker room Toronto Maple Leafs, Marlies, and Raptors. So they're doing all. Sales will include sticks, gloves, protective equipment, player-worn apparel, team-issued jerseys, and a lot more. They've got pictures up of a ton of stuff. No pricing, like tags or anything I can see, but I mean, they have the homes, the aways, and the blue jerseys in there in the photos. Of course, there's Austin Matthews, Matthew Knives, Morgan Riley, John Tavares. There's even seats from the locker room, looks like, that are for sale. A good mix of, even if you want water bottles, they're in there too. So that's, if you go on Real Sports Auctions Facebook page, all the photos and info are there.
Doc, didn't you get like a water bottle holder from the All-Star
did.
game?
Yeah, after last season, it was one of the because the company's changed.
Yeah,
it was the one mounted on the side of the Toronto bench. I actually photo matched it to last year's All-Star game.
Well, that's awesome.
So, or year before last, take that back. But yeah, it was kind of cool. It was like, what the hell do I need that for? But it was a neat pickup. So yeah, Sabres, their sale is July the 12th, starting at 10 a.m. Vegas.
Wasn't there some debate in the hobby about early access last year to Buffalo, or was that another team that I'm thinking of? No, it was I think it was another team. But
yeah, because I'm assuming the season ticket holders get, or actually, I think they do. They get early access starting at 10, and I don't know what time the public. I could not find that at the time, but we can dig that up. So that one's just around the corner. Also, for the end of the month, Wednesday, July 23rd, the Vegas Golden Knights doing their sale. Season ticket holders get in at 10. The public does not get in until 3. Thanks to Bill Gaber. He reached out to me to give me those details. He's actually going to be going, so he will join us the next day on the 24th, talk about the equipment sale out there, how it went, etc. So again, thank you for anybody going to these sales. And if you want to come on to give us details afterwards, we would love to have you. So again, thanks, Bill, for 1, giving me that info, and 2, reaching out. So be curious to see, again, pictures from any of those, kind of what the pricing is. And even if you guys aren't able to get pictures, if you can even get us just like what the pricing is, so we can kind of compare teams. It's always fun to see what kind of price swings and things there are between teams and especially on the same kind of stuff. So now into the actual topics of this evening, we have several, but first, talk a little bit about we'll do a show next Thursday, but next Friday morning, Wade's heading out east.
I am. I'm heading to the Migrate show. As it continues to approach, I continue to get more and more excited about it. It should be a lot of fun, and I am excited to see some friends and make some new friends, talk dirty laundry, and just, really just be a part of it. I'm kind of embracing all things. So I got a grab bag spot and, just planning on having a good time. If you do want to come by and say hi, if you looked today online, we put them up there, but we will have signed versions of both the Wade and Doc trading card fiasco from the show. So if you think you want one of these, there will be a limited quantity, and they are both signed and ready for your enjoyment.
Yes, the fun signing was hilarious. Wade and I met for lunch because I did drop some stuff off for him and pick up a couple things, and he's like, "Yeah, you got to sign these." It was funny sitting at lunch trying to make sure my autograph was nice, because when the hell do I sign autographs?
But
you did an awesome job putting that together. Thank you.
Thanks. I'm excited for it. We got to get cards of our other members here as well, or
yes,
a group card. Jason's shaking his head no. But no, I mean, it's a fun way to promote the show. There's information about the forum and the podcast on them. So if you are a insane collector in our hobby and want something pretty unique.
I mean, it's not a Zamboni, but it's pretty
cool.
No.
And it's
close.
It's more portable.
Yeah. I have stickers as well, and flyers for my show and for some other stuff. And, come by and say hi. I mean, that's, I think, probably the most, like we talk about, most important part, but I will have a table with a small display, and can't wait to get there. Can't wait to see everybody from Migrate. Can't wait to see all my friends. I'm actually meeting friends who I've never met, who I've been friends with for years. So that's pretty awesome, right? Can't wait, and I'll be reporting back. And Doc is entrusting me with a recording device, which is a little scary. So I will be trying to, maybe if you want to do a little recording to be on the show, I'll be available to do that, and probably do like a recap of the evening with some friends. So yeah, don't want to take up too much time, but excited to see everybody, and I'm also excited to get some New Jersey pizza.
Real pizza. Paul, have you
New Jerseys and pizza, or New Jersey pizza?
New Jersey pizza. So I mean, I lived there for a long time, so like I can tell you that I'm actually my first off the plane thing is I'm going to get my rental car, and I'm driving kind of close to where I used to live, and meeting a couple friends at one of my favorite pizza spots. And yeah, so I mean, I've got a fun-filled weekend ahead of me.
Very good. We'll definitely, I know we'll see you again next Thursday, but before I forget, safe travels now. We'll it'd be very excited to, if you're able to get some interviews, to put those into the podcast once you get back.
And as always, I mean, this is a show, and we're always I'm going to bring some trade stuff and some sell stuff and some personal collections to show off. I would not be doing the hobby or myself a favor by not telling everybody I do collect Blues jerseys. I collect Ryan O'Reilly, and I collect Blues affiliate stuff. So if you have something that you think I may like, please come by and bring it by. I will have exciting times ahead.
Paul, have you guys been?
I have not been to Migrate. No, I've been to Jersey plenty of times, but not to Migrate.
That's one of the ones on my list too. There's several.
I one of the first years I was collecting, and so overwhelming when you don't know a thing about collecting. I think if memory serves me right, I think I grabbed some veteran collector's Boston Bruin jersey off his table and didn't even ask. I was just
Oh,
like, let me fondle this bees jersey. And realizing now if someone were to do that, I'd be like horrified. So I certainly offended an expert Bruins collector in the hobby my first time out. And it was fun. It's a long day because you're on your feet all those hours, and then there's just like kid in a candy shop times 10.
I forgot to mention the one thing I am really excited about is going to and everybody keeps telling me I'm not going to know how to handle it when I first get there, but I am terribly excited to go to the warehouse and get that experience. I've got some stuff I'm going to be looking for, and some stuff I'm going to be looking for some friends, and I can't wait to do that. I'm actually going to have you guys remind me to take some photos if they let you take photos, just some stuff that we can show on the show.
I
So
think the thing that geeks me out about Migrate, and I love going up to the Winnipeg events, but there's a lot of the same teams you see over and over again. I think one of the things that just kind of makes me jealous about Migrate is just the number of teams and focal areas of collections. I mean, like this, I'm Paul. I'm assuming when you have your Sharks event or when you guys had the Blues event, there's city specific teams, but
yeah,
Migrate seems to draw a really good cross section of interest
and
areas. I
that's
mean, knowing the guys
and
going, that's awesome.
yeah, the good part about that is when you have to think about it, you're in Jersey, so you've got the Devils, the Rangers, the Islanders, like right in that window. You've got Philly right there. You get a lot of the, Washington collectors that come up. So it certainly is a big mix. That's why I decided to make my table setup is going to be Blues related because I figure I can bring some Blues stuff that people don't see all the time. Um, but I'm just really, really excited to get out there and, like you said, like see everything
Yeah.
and experience.
Are you gonna enjoy aren't there collector meetings the night before too?
Yeah, I actually just was texting somebody and they said something about a trade thing that they're going to do on Friday night. So, like I said, as of right now, my game plan for Friday is going to go to North Jersey for a little while, have some lunch with some friends, and then it's only about a 40-minute drive to where the show is from where I'm going. So I'll be down there looking to have dinner with some people, meet some people, and go to some of the trade events. And yeah, so I'm going to try to report back from all of it. But the trade event, I'm also excited about that, the Friday night thing. I haven't heard anything. I know in the past Milt did one. I haven't heard anything about that happening. And I know in the past Hoagie's done something Hoagie hosts one. So I really need to do some digging on the Friday night thing. I'm glad somebody mentioned it to me just before the show went on, actually. So yeah, my Friday night sounds like it just got a little fuller.
And then
Is that a word, fuller?
Fuller
Yeah,
House.
yeah. Yeah, what it is, what it is. It's a word now.
It's a word in somebody's dictionary anyway.
So yeah, that's the game plan.
So, well, again, enjoy that, and like I said,
Thanks.
we'll be doing a show before you leave, but it'll be fun to talk to you when we get back, or when you get back.
Yeah.
So, on to free agency first. What did you guys think about both the draft and free agency? I'll just say one thing on the draft itself: that setup was awful. You've got to bring them back together.
Bad television. Boring television.
Yeah. I'll let somebody else start.
It was day one was much, much too long.
Yeah.
Or I can give a Sharks report on it. We doors open at 3. Draft starts at 4. So downstairs we have food and drink and stuff. And lines are long as you would expect when there's only an hour before the draft. Takes a while to make the first pick, of course. Second pick, pick Missa, who we got to see today in the prospect game. He looks pretty good. He definitely a lot of potential. But then people hang around for a while, start talking with everyone, and the Sharks don't have another pick till 30th.
Yeah.
I think by the time they picked again, there were less than 100 people there. It was both in the club area and outside on the floor, maybe up to 200 tops, but it was deserted. And it was almost painful how slow it was this year. I don't recall it being that slow in past years, and definitely not in last year in Vegas, where they seem to keep it moving along. And that's just my opinion of day one. It was strange having the teams remote. I don't really understand the logic of that, and then the interview room. I'll be honest, I couldn't really hear too much of that on day one, but we watched some of the replay after it, and it seemed a little bit painful. How they were doing the remote interviews and stuff. I mean, that's kind of how we saw that. Any other day one experiences?
I mean,
yeah, go ahead, Justin.
I tuned out after pick 7. That was a little on the awkward side too. I mean, when did Adam Sandler turn 80? He just looked so made me feel old too. I don't know. It's just
but
it was a good television, and I mean, it was just not good television.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is, like when you think, and I don't watch I think the only one that anybody really watches, like I'm not an NBA fan, so I don't watch the NBA one. It seems like they've all gotten so commercialized. Like when I think about the NFL draft, I mean, they've tried to turn it into like an entire, like an event, right? But it goes fast.
I don't mean to interrupt, but I had been out to like weeks leading up to the draft going like to Buffalo Wild Wings, and there's whole shows dedicated weeks before breaking down the most minute BS. And it's like, my God, I had to look up the date. I'm like, holy crap, this isn't for 2 weeks.
No, for sure. And I don't think they make it fast enough. I mean, I think realistically, like when you talk about like TV and people's brain spans these days, like it's got to go faster and there's got to be some more energy to it. Like you guys said, hours between, it takes too long to get to pick 30, right? If you want people to be invested, you got to make it a little bit more rapid fire. Because otherwise it's not what it used to be. And part of the excitement was, like you guys said, seeing the people in the building with their families and enjoying that whole excitement thing was, I don't know, it didn't feel the same with the teams not being there without the floor. It doesn't feel like I mean, if you're going to do that, then just make the whole damn thing remote, put cameras in people. I mean, here we're doing a podcast with 4 video cameras going, put a camera in everybody's house and just call it a damn day.
Or just put them together. And one of the NHL analysis pieces was that there was so much trade and kind of free agency discussions this season, in season, that it kind of took some of the excitement out of draft day trades this year.
I mean, obviously all of us follow junior hockey a little bit, and like if you're a big hockey fan, but I also think that one of the reasons that the hockey one gets harder is because people are less connected to the players after you get through the top 5 or 10 guys that everybody kind of knows who they are, than the NBA or the NFL, because everybody's so connected to college football and college basketball. So usually, like I feel like people know those names a little bit more, so they're maybe a little bit more vested in it.
But then there's a hobby element baked into that, because once all these guys get picked,
you're figuring out who they are.
Then you're like, oh, I'm looking for so-and-so's USHL or UHL jersey.
I mean, I did that. I mean, I found myself. I mean, the Blues have obviously been very active, and our draft pick, he came in and did the rookie camp that they're doing currently. I don't go to that kind of stuff. Just I don't have time for it, to be honest with you.
Well, I mostly agree with you there because with the NFL draft, you've seen them play in college for years.
Yeah.
For the NBA, you've seen them play in college for a year, occasionally in high school. But our friends north of the border are pretty heavily invested in the CHL.
For sure.
And that, like the Memorial Cup is ridiculously huge up there.
Yeah.
And I guess in all fairness, I should also throw Michigan in that, because you have Saginaw and a few other OHL teams. Never,
Oh, I thought you were talking about Michigan, the school. Sorry.
No, Michigan, the state this time. That's one of the few times I will do that. So, but I mean, what we got Saginaw, we got Flint, we got a few OHL teams.
Yeah.
No, Ontario teams in Michigan, which
as a bigger hockey fan, I feel like I'm usually a little bit better connected. And I agree with you that probably north of the border maybe is a little bit more of a thing, but it is just harder to. I think if they don't keep the energy up high enough to make it where more casual fans are going to be as locked in. I think more people are doing what Justin's doing than what we're doing. We're like, I sat and watched the whole damn thing, right? Turn it on and start to finish. I think more people are probably less tuning in for the whole thing, unless you have a team that's a top 5 picking team. You're just waiting for it to hit on Twitter or wherever you kind of pick up that stuff.
I mean, having a USHL team here, there is an excitement. I mean, one of our incoming players, I think, went to the Hawks in the first round, and in years past, I've been like refreshing even into round 7 because there's an excitement, but then also you realize, I mean, especially after the first round, if they're going the college route and they're not a highly touted pick, you're looking at 2-3 years before they
absolutely
pro. And so that kind of, even being in the USHL market, that our team had 3 or 4 really good picks this year. It's kind of hard to get excited because it's just such a delay versus in the NFL,
they're instantly in. Yeah. And I had that conversation with some of my work friends who were hockey fans and stuff. And, what do you think of the pick? And I'm like, well, it seems good on paper, but I mean, I guess we'll figure it out in 2 to 3 years. Like you said, that's the reality of hockey. I mean, most of these guys are 2 to 3 years away from really having an impact on your team.
Yep.
And then you start looking at where some of the big guys have come from. It's second and third round guys that actually seem to spend more time in the NHL than sometimes in the first. Just a couple quick observations from my perspective on it is, Paul, for you, who did San Jose use a celebrity to do their first pick?
Yes, for both of the first round picks, it was a wrestler, and I don't know her name, and people can correct it in the comments and stuff. So someone in WW something.
WWE.
And, yes, a woman wrestler from San Jose, and I know
Bailey.
nothing about professional wrestling.
It was Bailey.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Oh, and Wade knows wrestling well, so that helps. For us, we had Nikki Glazer, who is fine. Yes. She's a stand-up comedian. She's a fantastic comedian, very funny. But just they didn't seem to, because I even watched the Blues put out a background thing afterwards of, hey, here we talked to her behind the scenes, and she went up and did it. It just seems so uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and I just put it back together. I think it works better. I think it just functions overall much better that way. I mean, if you want to get that fancy, fine, then fly that person in or find somebody to wherever the draft is going to be that has ties to St. Louis. I mean, being in LA, again, if on his schedule is, you could have had John Hamm do it if he was in LA and you were doing it there. Or you find somebody with ties back to St. Louis in the area you're doing it. And any teams could probably pull that off. The other observation, and I need to actually go watch the video, I've just heard the audio of it, is the second to the last pick for the whole draft. The guy was in the building, and I thought it was so cool that he was and how they did it. I can't remember who announced that particular pick, but I just thought it was funny that the guy was there and was there to be drafted with his family, and he was the second to last pick in the whole draft.
I don't want to ruin your story on that, but do you know why he was there?
Because he was there to support a friend, right? Who got picked earlier.
No, he's from Hermosa Beach. He's 20 minutes away.
Well, so, that makes sense too.
I think he was there with friends. He's at Shattuck St. Mary's, even though he's a California kid. He played for the Junior Kings back then, and he's going to Michigan. So Michigan, the school, not the state.
Thanks for letting us know exactly where that was. But it'll be interesting to see what the NHL does for next year, because I listened to Daily Face Off and other podcasts that I listened to. Nobody was really thrilled with how this was done because it is so disconnected. I think, Paul, like you said, and I need to find out from any of the season ticket holders we know, Wade, if they went to because the Blues did also do a party.
Yeah.
Is once the Blues got through their first draft, did people hang around long?
Yeah.
I'm betting it happened just like the Sharks did, Paul. They said, yeah, it's gonna be forever. I'm out.
Yeah, I mean the Blues only had 3 picks, so it's like,
Yeah.
I
should also add at the Sharks, and they closed down the bar at 7 p.m. and the draft went on till about 8:30 or so.
Those bastards.
Yeah, so that cleared a lot of people out too. Matter of fact, Mitch went out to get beers, and they wouldn't let him back in.
Of course he did.
Yeah, he went over to the Poorhouse Bistro, and they were not letting people back in because you needed a ticket, and they were scanning, and But why? I mean, everyone who's working there knows Mitch. Just let the kid back in. It's.
I love stories like that. God, we've got to get Mitch to St. Louis. I need to get out there at some point, but we'll see what the NHL does for next year. But it was definitely interesting. So with that, if you're either an admin of pages and you've probably already seen it, or if you're a collector or a fan of a particular player, don't be afraid to join the other game worn pages. I know I'm the admin, one of the admins, along with Wade and a few others of the Blues Game Worn page, and I've seen some people come in from other teams with their guys coming in with the trades that have happened lately, and I'm assuming a lot of other people are. But sometimes I know the admins can be a little gun shy with letting. Well, this person is a fan of this team. Why would I let them in here? They're also following the player they like, so don't be a super tight admin. I mean, if you're unsure, shoot them a message, but don't be an ass and block them. I'm assuming most people are letting them in because I can see immediately why they're coming here when you look at their profile. But I guess, Paul, you admin the main group, which isn't tied to a team, but I know you've seen it with other people coming in.
Yeah, and I do admin a few of the other game worn groups too, and in some of the fan groups, which non-jersey related. And what I find the issue you're bringing up there is much more of an issue in like the team groups, with fans of opposing teams joining, especially during the playoffs.
Yeah.
So for example, Barracuda fans joining the Ontario Reign group during the two teams playing in the playoffs. That tends to create a little bit more problems and issues in general. But for general collectors and stuff, there's the way players move around the league so much, there's usually you are right, it's a lot of times a collector of a player who's moved there recently, whether through trade or free agency, which we can touch on in a little bit too, or just someone like looking for a cool jersey, like the Seattle jerseys or Vegas or something. And that's the main group's great for that, but a lot of times the focused Facebook groups get the jerseys in there first.
And I'm a member of a good portion of those game worn groups, but again, it's also used it to keep track of equipment sales and other things, and it's always neat to see what other groups or how they're doing their stuff in that. It's not, it doesn't necessarily mean I may buy something out of that group, but at least I see how that's run and what shows up there, etc. I just want to be across the board. I'm not, yes, I'm a Blues collector, but I'm also a collector in general. That jersey or whatever team may look good, and that's what I want.
But then it does, on the flip side, you start to realize you're a member of all these random team Facebook groups, and then it just gets to be like unwieldy at a certain point, right? Like, I mean, I think I'm in the Dallas Stars group, and I love the Stars, but I have no interest in collecting Stars jerseys. So I'm like, what am I doing here? But I do really like the team specific ones if you're after one particular player. But then there's also a certain decorum that if you are joining a group and then you're poking around for one specific player, understanding that, certain teams have collectors who have a really, I don't want to say stronghold, but really good access. So, sometimes you have to be mindful of not being too aggressive when you pop into these groups.
Yeah, lurk first for a little bit, and see what the how people act in that group, and then ask. I mean,
yeah. I mean, with the Blues affiliates, that's been something I have a little bit of experience with. We switched affiliates a number of times, and when we went to Springfield, like it was join the groups and kind of like you guys said, lurk for a little bit, spend a little time to see exactly what, how it's who's the players and how they're playing, right? I think that's really important. And with the Blues group, just right off the bat, as soon as there was some guys drafted, I think we had, and some guys traded, there was some people that joined the group to list a couple things, and I think also just to, connect, which is great. I mean, I do the same thing. I mean, I'm a fan of doing that myself. So, if there's a player that we get that I like that maybe played for a junior team, I'll look and see if I'll join the junior group or I'll join the AHL group for that team so that I can try to find stuff I want to find.
Wade joined San Jose today with you guys taking Nick Leddy. So
yeah, I mean, it's the first time I've ever been in there. I didn't realize that Mitch posted about us all so much. No, I'm kidding.
It's a little more comfortable, Mitch.
But no, that was a fun, But yeah, I mean, you're always kind of looking around. I can tell you that we've got a couple guys that we picked up in free agency. So I found myself lurking on a couple teams' pages to see what jerseys were out there of those guys, to see if stuff had sold in the past, or just to kind of dance around because I enjoy that.
Yeah.
So one thing in the main group, and everyone probably knows by now, we're talking about Facebook. I don't think anyone said that word yet. But in the main Facebook Game Worn group, we maintain a list of all the individual team pages on Facebook and groups. So it's from all the NHL, college, CHL teams, even there's some European focus groups too. Yeah. So if you're looking for that, just check out in the main Facebook groups. It's under the About, a link to it. Yeah. And if you have another group which is not in there, please let me know and we will add you to the list. We try to keep that up to date. And groups keep popping up, for various teams or types of collecting, whether it's sticks or pucks or something, which, well, we don't want pucks in the main group. We will put links to the puck groups happily.
And if you're ever unsure and you're even not joining a group yet, but you think you might want to join it, go look to see who the admins are, fire them off a message saying, hey, looking at joining this group, here's why I want to be in it, whatever. Is this kind of stuff show up here? Whatever it is, if you have questions, most of the admins are going to be really cool about, hey, yep, sure, feel free to go ahead and join, or yeah, this is the kind of stuff we see, or no, we really don't see X, Y, and Z. But don't ever hesitate to ask, because really any good admin's going to take a few minutes. And again, if they don't get back to you immediately, it could be they could be working, whatever it is, but shoot them a message and people will usually help out. And none of us admins or whatever group we're doing mind doing that. So,
Paul, are you telling people to go puck off somewhere else?
Hey, Paul's got the largest collection of pucks I've ever seen. I mean, he's got every team. I mean,
I keep buying them when they show up in the main group.
He pucks himself somewhere. Yeah. He pucks himself in another group.
Yes. I mean, it is probably the two biggest issues which come up. Wait, can I post my pucks? No, read the damn rules.
Yeah.
Or why don't you guys force jerseys for sale to have a price?
Yeah.
And that comes up like a discussion on that every month.
Yeah. I personally think that they should have a price, but that's a topic for another time.
Yeah, we wanted to keep it a little bit more open. Some people, there's a lot of reasons not to have prices. There's a lot of reasons to have prices. And it's as the larger group, which is general, we made that decision just to keep it open. And
you guys do a great job.
Thank you.
You get paid handsomely for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
all
the
do.
abuse purpose.
I mean, Wade's taking the private jet out to the My Gray Expo. So
yeah, I'm taking
shows what the Dirty Laundry podcast is doing.
Yeah, Doc. I think you'll let me borrow the jet for the weekend.
We'll drive the Zamboni out. So.
Just
That's
like
my
Wonder
rebel.
Woman, Wade, it's the invisible jet. So
Yeah.
so Paul, you wanted to talk a little bit on the your prospect camp this week.
Yeah, I touched on it just a little bit. This is, as you've kind of mentioned, it's an interesting time of year. We have the draft, then free agency, um, and then the prospect camps, which overlap. So you have the draft right before the July 1st free agency deadline, and then here in San Jose, the prospect camp started the second. I'm sorry, no, it started before that because today's the third, right? It was 1, 2, 3. Yeah, today's July 3rd, isn't it? Right? Someone should know. Um,
I
so
think it
yes,
started the first because the
yeah. So the
Blues
first,
wrapped
yeah,
up theirs today.
yeah, and actually, I think it started the day before, but with just like interviews and headshots and stuff. So I could be wrong on that, but it's a couple-day camp, and this is always a fun event. The Sharks and a number of other teams open up the scrimmage at the end of it, and that was today at 11 a.m. Logan picked up his tickets, when they went on sale. Didn't realize it was a morning one, but happily he didn't have work today, so it's what he saw. It was 11, so it was good seeing him and Zoe there. And it's a fun event. You get to see all the new kids coming in. The Sharks always bring in or try to bring in a local kid, and I'm going to make sure I pronounce this correctly. This year they had a number 90, Landon Marlowe, I believe it is, and Patrick Marlowe's son for you people. And he got to play in the scrimmage some, and he has some skills.
Gee, I wonder where
Um,
he got that from.
yeah, no idea. Marlowe and Thornton were coaching his team there. Big takeaway from the actual product on the ice is the Sharks are drafting like it's a basketball team. These kids are huge. Have the roster here. Almost everyone's over 6 foot. I think 6'6" or 6'7" was the tallest.
Wow.
The goalies are beasts. They're 6'4", 6'6". So it's and that was a draft takeaway too. My understanding is there were no defenders under 6 feet drafted this year, and only 4
I
players
think that was
total.
almost across the board too, because the Blues were the same way.
Oh,
All their drafts were, I think, 6'1" or higher.
yeah, no, this is the league I'm talking about. No
Okay, I'm
defenders
sorry, missed that
drafted.
piece.
Yeah, for any team in the NHL under 6 feet, and 4 players total under 6 feet drafted.
Wow.
So us, normal height folks, don't have a chance of playing in the NHL anymore. But it's I mean that was one of the takeaways from it. It's good seeing everyone. It's a nice laid back game there. 11 o'clock's a little bit early, but
They
it was
started
fun.
at 10. We didn't. Wade and I talked about going actually today. Then we realized they started at 10.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
And they were just doing, our guys were just doing 3-on-3s. They weren't doing full scrimmages. It was 3-on-3 only.
yeah. This one was 2 halves, broken into two segments each half. 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes, 12 minutes. And it was 4-on-4 for the first 2, then clean the ice with the Zamboni, and then 3-on-3 for the end. And running clock for the 4-on-4, but they stopped the clock for breaks in the 3-on-3. So I thought last year it was a little bit different format, and I thought last year or the year before they actually did a shootout afterwards, even with the score not being tied, just to get more just something else in there to show. But most of these prospect games are being streamed. I know I got the announcement for Montreal streamed it this morning. Is the St. Louis camp done now?
Yes, they completed it today.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so their 3-on-3 scrimmage was the end of it. Since we're a game used podcast, there were no game worn items for sale today at the game, which yes, Justin. And normally at the Barracuda, because that's where it was, Barracuda rink, they normally have a kiosk there with game worn jerseys and gear. All that, which we did not mention at the top of the show, anything which is new, which has come in since equipment sale, will be available at the July 25th sidewalk sale that Sharks
Which
Pro
I know
Shop.
you'll do good coverage of.
Yes,
Yes.
we'll do our best. It's Friday, is that? And it's where's the details on that?
Hoping for a set three home this year. They all just
Yeah,
disappeared, didn't they?
most of those, the set three Sharks homes, most of those went for the jersey off the back for the
Damn.
giveaway. So I'm keeping my eyes open, seeing if any new Shark stuff. My understanding is they did not get any of the Barracuda jerseys at all. Um, and then hopefully they'll get some Barracuda gear because it's really what I'm looking for at that sale. I might, if, well, I'll have to correct this. I think it starts at 4 o'clock for season ticket holders and 5 o'clock for um, general public, and it's in the parking lot where right outside the warehouse where that Sharks Pro Shop has, which is at the back side of SAP Center. Or
At this point, my next tattoo just might as well be your PayPal address.
I'll get you a QR code. So.
And Wade, looking at our pictures from our camp, I need to do some digging on and get in a little bit closer on them. Two things. It looks like they're wearing last year's camp style. They're the practice jerseys, but they're not the new logo. It also looks like too, and maybe it's just the angles of the pictures. I need to, like I said, look at it closer. It looks like those nameplates are attached to those jerseys. They are not the old Velcro like they used to.
I noticed that too. My assumption is they're probably going to try to just run through those for the rookie camp and then probably you assume into training camp, which is cool. I mean, here, leave the damn nameplates on them and let us have them that way.
Yes.
Because
I think they'll update the regular ones with our new logo and that.
And it was fun. I mean, yeah, from all the pictures, it looked like it was a good camp. I got a lot of really good feedback from a few people that went that said it was a good time and the players did well. And they do the same thing, Paul, that you mentioned. They get a lot of local kids to fill in the roster. I know they usually get some Lindenwood kids and some of that. They fill out those rosters, which is always pretty cool. Local kids that play college around the country as well. So pretty neat. Yeah.
I can confirm the Sharks jerseys from today were the Fanatics, same style as last year that they had for the fall camp, and it's on Velcro name bars still here.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'll have to look close. It's hard to tell in the pictures I was looking at, but it's possible that they're sewn on. I will say though, now owning a couple of those, I have both a regular and a goalie cut. I really am impressed with those over the Adidas ones because everything is sewn on.
Material,
look
really
for
nice.
a practice. They look very nice because the Adidas ones are good, and from the teams don't care when they start getting beaten up. They can replace them. I've owned them for now a couple years, and as I wash them because I use my goalie one when I play, eventually the stuff starts peeling off the front.
Yeah.
So with at least the new Fanatics ones, that won't happen. So just kind of a neat thing. I do like the fact that they went back to actually all sewn on. One final thing, because he's in a pretty much a vacant room with a handful of jerseys around because he's been unpacking other pieces of your house. How did you pack and set up your stuff to move?
It was
awesome.
I'm not going to take any responsibility for anything I've said on the podcast tonight because I'm so tired.
Welcome to life, Justin.
Right. It was a lot of those huge totes and just packing ahead of time. I'll admit it was the first thing I packed when I left my apartment, and but given the way everything has kind of been crammed into my house, my jerseys are going to be the last thing I unpack. So yeah, if you've moved with a collection, it's a challenge. Good thing is this was just across town. I've gone halfway across the country with my collection before, and that, you're putting your entire collection in like moving vans, and you're just that you don't have control over. So there's, it's easier when you're going local. But if I had one piece of advice, it is don't buy any new jerseys while you're in the middle of a move because I hate the ones that I had arrive at my new place because it was just more stuff to move, and I just cannot believe I did that to myself. So I should have timed it so I had a couple of packages on my front porch, but fucking glad this is over.
Did you find any challenge out of the ordinary other than having to get to load up the big totes, fold them nice? Any other just like I wish I'd have done it this way instead, or just
When I first I've moved twice in since November. Someone gave me some good advice to make sure you're airing out a new tote if you're buying it right off the rack from a Walmart, just because there is some that plasticky smell and you don't want that leaching onto your jerseys. So I either used dryer sheets or just let them air kind of let loose. And the other thing that I did, and I think maybe this is a little paranoia, I did put towels on the base of the inside the bins just in case there was any oil that may have kind of run off of these bins. But other than that, there's just a lot of grunting, cursing, and promising to myself that I'm not moving at least for another 5 years. So no major challenges. I don't think I lost any jerseys in the move. The other challenge though, and it's not with any NHL or jersey hockey jersey sites, is sometimes websites can take a while to update your address. I struggled with one of the baseball websites not updating my address after I moved, so that's something to keep in mind. Is just really like as soon as you know your address, just updating it because it does take some time for these systems to catch up.
and no, and those are all good things, but plan ahead. I lucked out when I did my move from my apartment to my house. It was about 5 blocks. All my jerseys were on hangers, so I just brought them out of the basement there and just left them on the hangers, set them in the back of my car, drove them down the street, and brought them in and hung them back up.
Um, the only other weird thing, and it has nothing to do with my collection, is I moved in with a couple of really awesome dogs, but one of them licks my knee, and I don't understand why this is happening, but uh, I don't know. Strange. Moving makes for strange bedfellows, I guess.
Well, but at least you didn't. I mean, you didn't have to go far, and that's always helpful. I know. And if anybody has moved cross country with jerseys and has some good feedback and stuff, reach out. I'd love to have you on too, talk about the long distance moves. I know I mentioned because I'd seen his posts about 6 months ago or so when the hurricanes came through Florida. Bobby Eagle having to pack up all his stuff with 2 back-to-back hurricanes, and I totally
For the wildfires in Canada.
yes, yep, had that stuff as well. So there's always reasons to at least in the back of your mind, even if you're not moving, have a plan. Have a basic idea of what you're going to do. And I even reached out to Justin. What's it been about 2 weeks now when the tornadoes, heavy storms are moving in up there.
Yeah.
Again, same thing is some with that kind of stuff. You don't get a lot of warning. So if something happens, it may just happen. But have an Excel spreadsheet. Have something somewhere else that has your inventory on it. I'm in IT. Paul used to be in an IT, and Justin, you do university stuff, so you're all of us are used to organization. And then Wade does awesome jobs with selling cars and things like that, and we're working on your organization for jerseys. But like my spreadsheet is on Google Drive, so no matter where I'm at, I can pull that up. So if something was to happen to my house where it's wiped out or stuff, especially I'm in Tornado Alley, especially now, if stuff gets thrown around, I can at least track it down and prove some kind of ownership for it.
Yeah,
I mean, with the Blues serial numbers, I can have those things. Because here's the thing: is okay. If I'm at work and my house is hit by a tornado, then all of that is scattered, including my box of LOAs that has all the documentation. I need that somewhere else.
Actually, that'd be a good subject for another podcast, is actually bringing someone from the insurance industry to make recommendations on how to do this, or someone who has a lot more experience of just dealing with calamity. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
or like, yeah, there's just all sorts of things. And yeah, we had tornadoes about 2 weeks ago. It was unnerving. And to even think about evacuating because you've got so little time. Um, yeah, to do it on a less organized or more sort of on the fly thing. I can't imagine going through something substantial like that. But yeah, I mean, I'm just just glad I can start unpacking now. And my butthead cat made an appearance on on the podcast earlier. She doesn't know that she can't come in here just yet. So we're still working out, and I'm trying to keep my knees from getting licked by the dog.
But are you also excited though? Because that's one of the things I found when I moved. I was so excited. Yes, that it's overwhelming. I got to unpack it, but it's also exciting to be able to lay it out in the way you want to lay it out.
Yeah, yeah, and to kind of redo the displays. I finally last year finally got some display mannequins, and I can't wait to, assuming they're still here, unpack them and kind of get it going up. And so yeah, no, and yeah, it's kind of neat to kind of move into a new place and to kind of just get everything sorted. I will say, my apartment that I moved out of, I had just a phenomenal walk-in closet, and it was just so beautiful. I've never had that before. So just, you gotta find space for your collection where you can.
And a suggestion too, with one of your mannequins, put it in the window of the room where your jerseys are to scare the hell out of the neighbors.
Well, I mean, what the handful of Sharks jerseys isn't enough.
Well, everybody's worried about sharks in North Dakota, so
Sharknado.
true.
Oh, God.
But
Wow.
oh. Again, thank you for that, but it's something. And if there is anybody out there that has either gone through insuring their collection, has a contact with insurance company that does it, I'll hunt down a few as well. That is a discussion we're going to have down the road. That one's on the list, as well as what to do, planning ahead before you pass away, same kind of thing. But all of these under the worst case scenario, as it were. Another fantastic show. Just to kind of wrap up, Paul, you got any final thoughts?
No, just but fun being back here and enjoying the summer.
Yeah.
Yeah, ungodly hot. We've I mean, Justin, it seems both watch up your way, and Wade and myself, it's constant tornadoes or tornado warnings through here right now. It's just been insane. Wade, final thoughts from you.
The only thing I have is that I'm really excited. This is a fun week for me. And we kind of mentioned it before we came on the show, is jersey number watch this week is something I look forward to, with players getting moved around and going to new teams and seeing what number they go with, and then having players come to your team and seeing what number they put them in. So that's probably my final thought is, this is a week that I look forward to with that kind of stuff, because I like to see who they put in what. I also like to see if young guys take a new number from, if they had a bigger kind of crappy number and debuted, and then, now that they're on the team, if they're going to take something different. So that's something fun to watch, I think, as a collector. So that's really my final thought is enjoy your team's new players, new jersey numbers this week.
Definitely. Justin,
I am good.
glad you're back. We have missed you. I know you had a lot of different things going on, so try not to be a stranger. Plan your schedule better, because we're more important than most other stuff you're doing anyway. So, but again, thank you everybody for the support for the first 100 shows. We've got a lot more in the tank, a lot of fun stuff coming up. Scheduling not this next week, but the week after will be off a little bit. I got to do some traveling on that Thursday, so we'll probably record earlier that week or come up with some kind of plan. But again, subscribe, share it with people if you know collectors that haven't maybe watched it or heard of it. I actually talked to a guy up in Bloomington who's a 30-year minor league coach in Canada and we just got talking about hockey and told it he started and check it out. I mean, make the connections and share it around. Go on Apple Podcast, leave a comment trying to get us ranked up and some of those kind of things. But again, we appreciate all the support. If you want to come on, if you have topics, things like that, please reach out to myself or one of the other of us. We will definitely work you in and get you in on the schedule. Until next time, thanks again for another one in the books with the Dirty Laundry Game Worn Hockey Podcast.